Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking to our distinguished guest about the achievements of the younger generation of Bangladeshis living in this country called British Bangladeshi or British of Bangladeshi origin. Dr. Hasanat, we have not done very badly when it comes to politics. We have 3 MPs, albeit they're all ladies, but then the girls are doing better than the boys.
Academically, yes. But you mean 3 Bangladeshi MPs?
Yes, of course.
In the British House of Commons?
Yes.
You see, Mr. Neaz,
and all 3 from the same political parties.
Of course. Well, bravo to them. Congratulations. But I have a small submission here.
Right.
In the 90s or the early 20s, we used to dream about the British Bangladeshis. We are 500,000. We should have proper representation in the... That was a emotional sort of utopian thinking. Now coming back to this 2015, and if you look seriously, there is no double standard. There should not be a double standard in that. If you talk about a constituency, the people should vote, doesn't matter which party, you mentioned Labour or Conservative or Lib Dem, the person who will serve their purpose.
Right.
What good is a British Bangladeshi? Are they represented Bangladesh? If they are from a constituency of Bethnal Green and Bow, let's say, or wherever, their prime duty is to look after the constitution of that side. If they want to take credit that we are the first or I am the first Bangladeshi and I represent Bangladesh, no, we didn't vote for you, number one. You belong to this country, your job is for that constituents where you belong, number one. And
your
if you,
loyalties are for
absolutely. That. And if you want to talk about the country where you came from, and if you want to look at yourself like a selfie that you represent democracy, you represent fair play, justice, you represent how British democracy has thrived all these years, then if you see violation of democracy, killing, abduction, be it in Bangladesh or anywhere in the world, you should be in the forefront. If you don't do that, as a British Bangladeshi, what good are you for me? If you, I'm sure you will raise Islamophobia. If you say that there are injustices in Gaza, where thousands of children are being slaughtered, and you don't say anything, what good are you for me? So those emotional things that I need a British Bangladeshi to represent me, I do not believe in that. I advise my audience to vote for that person if you are in a locality, whether that person is fit to...
But in politics, they kind of probably exploit is not the right word, but all kind of emotions are used.
Yeah, but be professional. Look at yourself. You are in this country. Your children are being grown up here. You have to look at education, housing, health, all those important things that matters. And also ethics. The ethics for which you, let's say, we talk about Bangladesh. We can talk about Zimbabwe also. We can talk about Libya also, or Syria. Let's talk about Bangladesh. If we have liberated Bangladesh in the name of democracy, Pakistanis denied us our election, we won, and that's why we went to war.
Right.
And if you believe that, then being in the citadel of the highest seat of democracy, which is House of Commons, you should be seen, you should be expected to be seen as advocating that for your country from where you come, or be it Zimbabwe or where the Arab worlds are failing.
Well, we are learning, isn't it?
Well, but then stop telling that I represent Bangladesh. Stop taking garlands on behalf of Bangladesh. If you are willing to take that credit, take the responsibility also. So my appeal to the voters is, you choose which party suits you, whether it is tax credit, refugee, or housing, or your children's education, which MP
During
will
the break,
suit
we
your
were talking
purpose.
about NHS, which is very close to your heart.
Absolutely. Thank
because
you.
you organized a demonstration recently.
Last Saturday, I was with about 20,000 doctors, junior doctors. It's about the government policy. Probably you know, 3 of my children are in medicine. They are doctors in hospitals around London. They went on their free will, not for the money, but for the love of caring, for the love of NHS. And when they wrote to me that this is what is happening, their hours, they are being
working long hours, very long
7
hours.
to 7 was normal. Now the proposal, the reform that government is bringing, they want these young doctors to start 7 o'clock in the morning, finish at 10. Now a young
It's
doctor,
not reform, it's punishment.
absolutely, and you will see it. Main doctors, there is huge exodus. There is statistics. They are leaving for United States where the salary is bigger, in Australia and Canada.
Yeah.
Draining our NHS. Our children became doctors for a purpose. We want to nourish them. We want to see them in healthy hours so that they can serve our patients. These junior doctors are now ready to strike because I see my own son, 7 to 7, he gets up at 5 o'clock, gets a tube, goes to his hospital. By the time he sees his last patient, at 7 o'clock is the last duty. He comes out at 8, reaches his home at 10, and then cooks. And it is like this, night after night. I don't see them even on festivals like Eid. Not that they are complaining, but if you squeeze these junior doctors to wall, they will leave. They are leaving the profession. So, yes, junior doctors need to be catered for. That's why the placard in my hand was, one day we were also juniors. Even the GPs are supporting, even the consultants are. Government needs to think that we don't want this meritorious student of ours who studies so hard, go through the competitive process and enter into medicine.
These doctors who are manning accidents and emergency, see, they need to be agile, active,
Absolutely.
and on their feet, see.
After a series of night duty, you give them a required minimum numbers as a hospital consultant. You know that now number of days or hours is required to recapitulate,
Right.
to come back to. You are not giving that. They are all the time tired. And you expect that they will not protest? No. So this is happening. Otherwise, you wouldn't see 20,000 plus doctors.
You were talking also about the tax credit.
Tax credit is another thing. Yes, we need to discuss it. Government is proposing something. Government hopes to save about 4 billion. But the opposition is saying, Lib Dem and Labour is saying, about 3.3 million families will be affected.
Is this going to affect mostly the migrants?
Well, let's
It will
talk about
affect
people
across
who
the
are
board, yeah.
yes, a low-income group, and about 3.3 million of them will lose about 1,200 pounds a year. This is the Labour Party's version and the Lib Dems, and of course Lib Dem Baroness is trying to in the House of Lords trying to stop this. Now there are arguments in favor or against. The ruling government is saying this is balanced by less tax in certain points, free childcare, for example, and increased hourly minimum wage.
Right.
Now this needs to be debated. I mean, and there is a moderate proposal by Labour, but Labour's house is in disarray after Mr. Corbyn. They need to get their act unified. They are proposing that, okay, if you want to bring this reform, give a 3 years staggered period for the affected people to get adjusted to this.
Right.
Whereas the Lib Dem, and I doubt whether Lib Dem Baroness Manzoor is trying to put it forward, I suspect there will be not that much backing. I'll be very surprised because if House of Lords, which is not an elected body, can stop this, it is a bad precedent.
Dr. Hasanat, we are coming towards the end of the program. There is one topic that is obviously it's always in the news, Islamophobia. As an academic and someone who is very close to the mainstream politics and the community, well, what are your opinions? What's your take on this? How to tackle this?
Ask me something which is very close to my heart. Probably you don't know, about 5-6 months back, I took a huge number of our people, including imams, to 10 Downing Street to say, this is not Islam. What I see is this is not in Islam. Terrorism is terrorism. It exists in every...
As they say, a terrorist has no religion.
No religion. So therefore, to blame Islam for that is again a created scenario. And the result of this, net result of this mess
Yes.
of either encouraging in an indirect way Islamophobia and all this, and the ISIS, the sudden rise of ISIS in such a vast scale, what is the international game? But the real effect is the refugees.
Yeah.
Look at that. So what do we need? We need to have and also as a country, we in UK, we are a small country. We have to safeguard our borders also.
True.
There are
True.
arguments, yes, we need to take more refugees than 10,000 over 5 years, but the government is saying we are spending 100 million in the camps near the border. So there are arguments in and against.
Also, a lot of money is being sent to overseas countries as aid.
Absolutely. DFI aids and all other aids, fine. But the whole thing has to be settled diplomatically. United States, for example, has to decide which side they are. Are they against Assad or they are really against ISIS? You can't have both sides. So similarly, suddenly Russia coming into it, for God's sake, nobody has given absolute right to the United States to do everything there.
That's very good on the international scale, but we living here, see, the community, whenever something goes wrong overseas, see, people look at us and say that we are probably not doing enough.
Well, I spend enough time on Tower Hamlets and Oldham because of my positions with education. I believe we have a responsibility. If I fail to detect my children moving away from what real Islam is, as a parent, if I see some changes in my daughter's or son's behavior, I should be knowledgeable about that. I cannot turn a blind eye and say, I didn't know. A lady from Birmingham is saying, I went there and to find my husband. I went for Hajj without the husband, without any male members knowing, not knowing that you are going for Hajj. In Hajj, you have to be accompanied by a male. And then some Suki Begum wants to say that she went to bring her husband. I say the British government should put them under trial. They should face a fair court system to see who is doing wrong. If our children are, we British Bangladesh, we don't have any relatives in Syria, do we? And if you want to really serve the cause of country and religion and the country there where you live, then educate yourself first. Be a good citizen. Know what is right and wrong, what real Islam is, and then contribute.
Well, Dr. Hasanat, in 30 seconds, could you just sum up and tell us, what do you see the hope is there for all of us who have made this our home? What sort of hope, what sort of
there is great hope.
Silver lining is there?
There is, every cloud has a silver lining. There is great hope. We are a big community. And last 50, 60, 70 years, due to our hard work, nobody has given it us on our plate, neither the Labour Party nor the Conservative. We have come this far. If we are aware of this, of our potential, if we look after our children well, and if we really go for the
Thank you very much.
Purpose of our stay here.
Nice having you.
Nice meeting you. Thank you.
Nice having you on the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for being with us, viewers. We hope that you have enjoyed the show as much as we have today. And please watch us again next week, same time, same channel, on your television screen, on your mobile, and online, and also on. See you again next week.